Still going to be a good sermon, I hope. Okay. This summer, I was very blessed to lead nearly 50 members of our Beth Yeshurun community on a mission to Germany and Poland. And one of the most meaningful moments was visiting the tiny shtetl where my grandmother grew up, a little place called Shepica. Before the war, this small village outside of Krakow had all the signs of a vibrant Jewish life: synagogues, a mikveh, kosher butchers, Jewish schools. The Holocaust ended it all. Out of her extended family members of 23, my grandmother was the only one who survived. Today, no Jews remain in that town. But this summer, I got to walk those old streets and pray in the ruins of the synagogue where my great-grandparents were married back in 1919. I'm now one of the few people that have prayed there since September of 1939. I also visited the Jewish cemetery, a large, centuries-old resting place filled with gravestones made from cast iron. That's actually the one thing Shepica is known for today, not for the Jewish life that once filled its streets, but for having the most cast iron gravestones in all of Europe. Those gravestones, they really stood like silent witnesses to the once thriving Jewish community. We often think of Poland as only a place of Jewish loss, and that's true, but it's not the entire story. For over 1,000 years, Poland was home to one of the most vibrant Jewish communities ever known. Let me put it in perspective for you. About 12% of New York City today is Jewish. In the Houston area, we make up less than 1%. In the main cities of Warsaw and Krakow, we made up over 30% of the population. The streets echoed with Yiddish. Synagogues thrived with Torah study. In Warsaw alone, there were 400 synagogues, alongside thousands of Jewish schools, theaters, and newspapers. A popular Midrashic reinterpretation of the name Poland is Polania. Here, God dwells. For over 10 centuries, our people built something extraordinary, a deeply rooted, flourishing Jewish world that's still part of you and me. 70% of the world's Jews can trace some of their ancestry back to historic Poland. Poland remains a spiritual and cultural inheritance unlike any other in our history. Our ancestors lived very Jewish lives there, often feeling at home in Polish society. They helped shape the cultural, economic, and spiritual heartbeat of the entire country. On the eve of the Holocaust, the renowned poet Julian Tuwim declared what many Polish Jews felt: I am a Polonized Jew, a Jew Pole, raised in Polish culture. I become attached to my Polishness with the whole of my soul. In 1939, over 3 million Jews called Poland home. Just 6 years later, just 10% of them were still alive. Today, I know many of us fear, could one day our great American Jewish community, God forbid, share the same fate? It's a conversation we had many times on our trip. I know it's one we're all having in private conversations with friends and family. Today, the United States is experiencing its worst surge of anti-Semitism in a very long time. This graph, which I know, unfortunately, not all of you can see, but it's very easy to explain. The top, of course, is how much Jew hate there is out there. It doesn't even compare to the other minorities. It's 3 times the size of the next one. And again, last year, American Jews were the most targeted religious group by far, by anyone, by any minority. Nearly 70% of all religiously motivated hate crimes were against us, even as overall hate crimes actually declined last year. Fear of anti-Semitism is becoming part of daily life. For generations, you and I believed that America was different. Here we were safe. But as the Irish writer Conor Cruz O'Brien once said, anti-Semitism is a light sleeper. It reemerges when societies polarize and too many people seek someone to blame. After what I witnessed on our trip this summer, I don't believe we are near 1939, but I do believe we are dangerously close to 1933, when too many ignored the warning signs, the rhetoric, the scapegoating, the normalization of hate, and then they started killing innocent Jews. In America today, extremists dominate political and social media discourse. Both the far left and the far right find ways to blame you and me. They just use different code words. The far right, they say globalists. The far left, they say Zionist. But the pattern is the same: shifting blame, fueling hate, making us the target. People just a few years ago would have hidden their hatred, now post it proudly online and find plenty of company. Earlier this year, I asked Deborah Lipstadt, the former U.S. Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism, who should we fear more, the extreme right or the extreme left? She didn't hesitate. Be equally afraid of both. Her warning was sobering. Both extremes are poisoning young minds every single day, while agreeing on nothing else except a deep, shared hatred of us. Many of us, I know I am, at this moment, are feeling dismayed, possibly afraid. We see it, we feel it, we're all talking about it. So what is the answer, Rabbi? What should we do? There are, of course, several ways that we should fight anti-Semitism. We should work on building relationships with other communities. Of course, strong, pluralistic ties make us all safer, and we can all play a part no matter our age. We also must demand unequivocal support from leaders on both sides of the aisle. If any elected leader cannot say clearly that any sort of Jew hatred is wrong, then they're not worthy of leadership. No excuses. And of course, we must continue to defend our institutions, whether online or in physical ways. It's an unfortunate cost of being Jewish today. These are all important responses. But I have to tell you, this summer, I found one answer that I now believe to be the most important one of all. I discovered the response in Poland. Who would have thought? After spending a day at Auschwitz, we were depressed, still in shock of what we saw. But then just under an hour later, we arrived at a place that was the opposite of Jewish loss. Not in a museum or in a memorial, but in a living, breathing center of Jewish life, the Jewish Community Center of Krakow. During a visit to Poland back in 2002, it was Prince Charles who met with Holocaust survivors and asked them a simple question: what do you need? And when they responded, a Jewish community center, it was Prince Charles who secured the initial $3 million to bring it to life. Now, where death once reigned, you hear Jewish children singing Hebrew songs and young adults rediscovering their roots. A once unimaginable renaissance of Jewish life. It was there that I caught up with Liam Fagan, a wonderful young man who grew up at Beth Yeshurun, who chose to spend a year of his life rebuilding Jewish life in a place where so much was lost. The quote in this picture on the front of the building says it the best. Here in Krakow, quote, here in Krakow, from the ashes of the Holocaust, Jewish community has been reborn. And there's no greater symbol of this rebirth than the Jewish Community Center, Your Majesty, King Charles III. I know I too actually like King Charles now. Liam told our group the story about a young woman. Her grandmother had hidden her Judaism ever since escaping the Krakow ghetto. On her deathbed, she revealed her true identity, but then she told her non-Jewish granddaughter, I don't know what it means to be Jewish, but I want you to find out. For me, go spend your life discovering what that means. This young Polish woman had no idea what to do, so she did what all of us do today for help. She asked ChatGPT, and there she learned about the Krakow JCC. She's now on the process of officially converting, on the road to becoming a proud Jewish woman. I was blessed to see firsthand that JCC is helping fuel one of the most inspiring Jewish revivals in the world. They assist survivors, support Ukrainian refugees, host a BBYO chapter, and recently opened the first Jewish preschool in Krakow since the Holocaust. And every summer, they host one of the largest Jewish cultural festivals in the world, drawing thousands to celebrate our music, our art, our ideas, our food. And as part of the festival this year, there was a Shabbat dinner for over 700 people, the largest Shabbat dinner in Krakow's history. Now, please know, life in Poland today is far from perfect. Anti-Semitism is growing there too. And yet, against all odds, Judaism is starting to thrive again. In the very streets where Jewish life was once marked for destruction, it's now proudly displayed. On our trip, I expected to see only death and destruction. I did not expect to witness an extraordinary place of Jewish life. And you know what this experience taught me? I think we can learn from our fellow Jews in Poland. The best way to respond to rising anti-Semitism is to also grow and strengthen our Jewish community. Can we also bolster Jewish identity, engage Jews of every background, welcome those who are still choosing to convert with open arms? Put simply, you want to know how to fight back? Be more Jewish. How? Recently, I came across something from writer Bret Stephens. He was asked, what's the most important response to growing anti-Semitism? His answer stuck with me. A few years ago, a journalist wrote a book called 10% Happier, about taking small steps towards a happier life. Bret Stephens gave that idea a Jewish twist. He said, the best way to fight anti-Semitism this year is to get 10% jewier. In other words, wherever you are on your Jewish journey, add 10%. It's like a New Year's resolution. Don't go for 90% because you'll probably fail. This year, just go for 10% more. If you've never come to Shabbat services, this year, come to 5 Shabbat services. If you already attend every weekend, add a weekday minyan. If you're already here every day, maybe it's time to become a rabbi. If you like to add pro-Israel posts on your social media, continue to do so. But this year, also add some mitzvot to your routine. Once a month, light Shabbat candles, do a Shabbat dinner, give 10% more to tzedakah, give up pork or shellfish. Are they really that good? Okay, don't answer that. But 10% of the time, give it up. It doesn't just have to be in religious observance. 10% can also be in increasing your level of knowledge. It can be in the choice of the vacation that you're taking. It can be what interests you on your bookshelf. It can be where you volunteer. You name it. Choose your own Jewish adventure, but make it more. The goal isn't perfection, it's growth. This new year, be 10% more concerned, more engaged, 10% more Jewish than you were last year. Alongside our concerns about growing anti-Semitism can be something so good, a deep, unwavering commitment to stand even prouder as Jews. How amazing would it be if we all did this? Our synagogue, our community, our Jewish world would be so much better. And yet I do understand the fear. We may wonder, Rabbi, is it safe? Wouldn't it be smarter now to hide our Judaism, retreat to the safety of our homes, maybe be at least 10% less Jewish? And when people speak of the risk of being Jewish today, I think of the story of the great Rabbi Akiba. 2,000 years ago, under Roman occupation, they made Torah study punishable by death. Yet Akiba taught more publicly than ever. And someone challenged him. They said, Akiba, aren't you afraid? Why risk your life? He answered with a parable. He said, a fox sees some fish darting in the water to escape the fisherman's nets. So the fox says to the fish, come on to dry land and live with me in safety. The fish are smart. They answer, if we are in danger, even in our natural home of water, how much worse would it be on land with you where we cannot live at all? Rabbi Akiba's message, Judaism is our water. Only in it can we live. In dangerous times, leaving Judaism, retreating is not safety. It is our spiritual death. My friends, this new year, don't fear the risks of defiance, courage, boldness. Instead, consider the far greater risk of retreat. Silence is not safety. Withdrawal is not protection. It's erasure. It's the end of the great Jewish life that you and I enjoy. That's what our enemies want. That's exactly the victories anti-Semites dream of. And it only fuels their hatred. Rav Saadia Gaon taught over 1,000 years ago, our nation is a nation only by virtue of its Torah. Our survival is bound to the tradition. It has defined us, sustained us, given our existence purpose. Don't downplay your Torah, hide your mitzvot, or ever apologize for your Judaism. Let not fear be our response to Jew hate. Instead, let us walk as dignified and confident Jews, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity, out of the strength that comes from knowing who we are, ambassadors of an ancient people that only seek to make the world better through our wisdom, through our traditions, through our values. We only have goodness to offer the world. God gave us a divine mission. One job, to make the world better through our Judaism. We have nothing to hide. We have so much to take pride in. You know what this also means? It means declaring with confidence, we are proud Zionists. We love Israel, not because she's perfect. No country is perfect. We stand with Israel because 8 million of our Jewish brothers and sisters live there, and because Israel is and will always be our eternal Jewish homeland. Because in the end, living proudly as Jews, and for that matter, Zionists, earns respect. As the great Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory often said, non-Jews respect Jews who respect Judaism. Non-Jews respect Jews who respect Judaism. For centuries, this has been our most effective response. When there are those who try to diminish us, the best answer is to become more Jewish, more committed, more learned, more confident. And this summer, I was blessed to see this happening again in Poland. can also be our response here. On Rosh Hashanah, we soon declare Hayom Harat Olam. Today, the world is born. This year, let us also be reborn as a people rooted in our religious identity, shining our light with strength and purpose for the year ahead. Yes, these are challenging times, but this new year, we can choose to respond by not hiding, not retreating, not apologizing, but instead by being more Jewish more than ever before. Thank you.